When you think of Canada, you often think of the big cities like Toronto, Vancouver, Calgary. However, one place you tend not to think about is the wonderful Saskatchewan. In fact, one of the first things people asked me when I told them that I was moving to Saskatchewan is, where is that, or how close is that to Toronto? And that's because it's one of the provinces which is just not as well known, especially outside of Canada. With that said, I love this beautiful province, and in this video I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you should consider moving to Saskatchewan in 2022. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. So first thing to mention is open space, and let me tell you, Saskatchewan has a lot of it. Saskatchewan actually has a much lower population compared to a lot of the other bigger provinces like Alberta, British Columbia, Ontario, Quebec, and because of that there's just way more space here. Now, on a negative to this, there are times when you could feel like you're in the middle of nowhere because you can be driving for literally hours and not see a thing. However, on the other note, at least for me, coming from the UK, coming from a big city, that is pretty refreshing and something that I've never seen before and something that I love. So I guess when you think about it, there are pros and cons to both. Personally, I love it. And if you like open space, well, Saskatchewan is the place for you. So number 2, it is affordable. Saskatchewan is one of the most affordable provinces in Canada. This means things like buying a house are much more easier and at least achievable in Saskatchewan. Of course, you've got slightly bigger cities like Saskatoon and Regina, and of course that's where most people want to be, and they're a little bit more expensive. However, even if you compare them to other big cities like Edmonton, like Calgary, like Vancouver, then there's a pretty big difference, that's for sure. Of course, you have got smaller cities as well, like North Battleford, Meadow Lake, which are of course smaller. However, again, they're perfectly affordable, and if you want to live in a smaller city, then that could be the place for you. And at least for me, the house prices make it pretty hard to complain. Where I lived in London, the house prices were so expensive that buying a house almost seemed impossible, and even where my family lived in Buckinghamshire, which is about an hour from London, the house prices are still insane. In fact, when I tell my friends how much the houses are, they just can't get over it, especially for the amount of space you can get for the cost. And Saskatchewan has even seen some house price drops in some places. Now, this might not be a good thing for some people. However, if you're like me and you're trying to buy a house, then this is a benefit. So if you like a slower pace of life, then Saskatchewan is probably the place for you. Now, I thought I was going to find this a really big adjustment, and I thought, to be honest, is something that I would hate. However, boy was I wrong. I actually love the slower pace of life here, and I enjoy it much more than what I thought it would. Even the bigger cities here often have a smaller population than the size of an average UK city or town. People here, or at least in my experience, just seem way more relaxed here and take a very different approach to life, which is something which I love. I mean this in a good way, because at least since I moved here, I've had so much more spare time, which means that I can do more things like making videos, but even now it's becoming summer, I can do more things like go out, I can see friends, all those different things which sometimes I just didn't have time for when I lived in the UK. So number 4, Saskatchewan has some of the nicest and kindest people I've ever met. And I mean this so genuinely, and I'm not saying that people in other provinces in Canada aren't nice as well. However, there's just something about the Saskatchewan people which just amazes me to this day, and it just has made me fall in love with this province. Wherever you go, people are kind and really helpful. I feel like people here really promote kindness, and that's something which I really care about, and it just makes me feel so appreciative to live in a place where people are just so kind. As a new immigrant to Canada from the UK, this really created a long-lasting impression, which is why now I'm in that process of wanting to buy a house here and wanting to to spend quite a bit more time here than what I initially anticipated. So I guess that's just a shout out to the people in Saskatchewan. Thank you for just being amazing. Number 5, while the population is still pretty small here, there's still job opportunities, and that's something that I probably wasn't going to expect as much as what I have done. Now again, this obviously depends on the field you're working in, and if you're considering moving to Saskatchewan, one of the first things I would do is check that you are able to work here and that you're able to find a job here. Because where the population is a lot lower, finding a job can be tough. However, those opportunities are definitely there. Now, for me, for example, I studied education and technology as my master's, and I was able to find a job working within that field in Saskatchewan, something which for me I'm so grateful for, and also something that I love as well. And if you are looking for a job, there's so many ways to do it now, like LinkedIn search, like Google search. There's so many different ways to look before you actually make that move. Now, I was quite fortunate in the sense that I had a job before I came here, and that did make a big difference, but I still would have moved here anyway. So the fact that I was able to and get a job is a big win for Saskatchewan. Number 6, there is a huge appreciation for local things in Saskatchewan, and this is something I just love. For example, one of the favorite places I like to go for a drink every so often is a local brewery, and the fact that it's made on site is just incredible. And we sometimes get those little microbreweries in the UK, but it's not something I see as much as what I do here. And for me, that's just something I love. Now, Saskatchewan has a really big agricultural industry, and farming is a really big thing here, which means that lots of people who you speak to have some kind of relation or are in the farming industry themselves. Now, this is a good thing because things like, for example, wheat and canola can grow really well here in Saskatchewan, and it means that we get lots of local produce here, and it's something to be celebrated and something to be proud of, and that's something that people in Saskatchewan do really well. Now it's summer, we can hopefully start having things like Saskatoon berry pies and all those different great goodness things within Saskatchewan. So finally, number 7 is how can I make a video about Saskatchewan without saying just how beautiful the summers are. And when I first moved here, I noticed lots of people don't go away in the summer, and I often thought, why was that? And well, now I realise, and now I've been here, because the summers are so incredible. Why would you want to leave Saskatchewan in the summer when you have to put up with that horrible winter, and then summer is just incredible? And if anyone's been to Saskatchewan, there are so many lakes, there's some national parks as well, and there's just so many great things to do here in the summer, especially if you like being outdoors. Now, this isn't to say that other places in Canada aren't incredible as well, because again, there are so many places in the whole country. However, if you're thinking of moving to Saskatchewan, the summers are incredible, and while those winters are so harsh and makes you think, why did I move here? Summer comes, and then I think it just reminds you of while you're in this wonderful province. So there we have it. There were 7 quick reasons on why you should move to Saskatchewan. Now, a bit of a disclaimer, I'm probably quite biased here because Saskatchewan is a place I love, and honestly, it's a place I didn't think I would love as much as what I did. So I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Jack, and I make videos about my life in Canada, and I want to know what you think. I'd love it if you just say hey in the comments, and if you enjoyed this content, feel free to hit that subscribe button, and of course give a like for the algorithm. I hope you're all well, stay safe, and I hope to see you guys really soon. Bye for now.